Hey guys, still there. A couple of weeks ago, I posted the About Me video, and I got a massive amount of support from you guys, and I really appreciate that. I haven't actually said that yet, but I really appreciate it. And I was actually surprised by how many people are struggling with the same things that I mentioned in that video. Now, in the meanwhile, I've had another coaching session slash therapy session, depending on how you want to call it. I think it's a mixture of both. Although therapy to me implies something a little heavier. It's not that bad. Anyway, yesterday I had a bit of a weird moment in my coaching talk with my coach. She asked me, "Who are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm me. You want my name? You have my name. What are you trying to ask?" And she once again asked, she said, "Who are you?" So I gave her my name, and then she said, "Okay, so who is that person?" And she was looking for some sort of, I don't know, emotion maybe? But to me, it was like a does not compute. Ever had a calculator and try to divide by zero? It gives a big error message and the whole thing comes crashing down. Well, that's pretty much what was happening in my head. That was made all the worse when she asked another question. She said, "What would happen to the world if you were no longer here?" And I was like, well, nothing would happen to the world. I mean, we're 7 billion people. It doesn't really matter. I don't really have that much of an impact. I'm not that special. Nothing would change. And she said, yeah, well, you don't really believe that. What would be lost if you were no longer here? So I said, well, okay, my YouTube channel would stop. My social nerd page would stop. I would stop doing the body language coaching. My family would be unhappy for a bit, but that's pretty much where it ends, as far as I'm concerned. Her question was more geared towards something else, and it was something that I was unwilling to express to myself. And not just to myself, but, well, no, actually, I think mostly to myself. What she was saying, she said, I'm going to help you a bit. She said, what, as far as I'm concerned, would be lost if you were no longer here is someone who cares deeply about the people around him and tries to do a lot to help him. And if you were no longer here, I would lose a very valuable person in my network. I was like, okay. And I noticed that somewhere in my mind there was a sort of, I don't know, disconnect or error message, as it were. You see, as you might have mentioned or as you might have noted from my YouTube videos, I am very analytical. If I cannot reason or rationalize my way through something, either it doesn't exist or I try to ignore it, I try to avoid it as much as possible. Emotions generally can be rationalized away, and that's what the previous video was about. They can be generally rationalized away. You can say, hey, this is why I'm feeling it, this is what I'm feeling, if I'm feeling anything at all. And yesterday, I noticed that I was unwilling to express something that, when I said it, came out as a big relief, as it were. And this is so weird to say because it's going to sound completely out there and completely unscientific. But she noticed that I was struggling with something. Of course, all good coaches know exactly what's going on, either because they've been there themselves or because their BS meter is really good. Anyway, what I answered to that question, what would be lost if I were no longer here? Um, in the end, I said warmth, or, and here's the real clincher, love. And I cannot believe I'm saying this on a YouTube channel that is highly dedicated to military stuff. It's planning, strategy, operations. Emotions are not part of the equation here. And yet, as my coach said, this is exactly what you need to admit to yourself. There is a whole lot of stuff that not just me, but we in general don't allow ourselves to say. In my case, I don't want to admit that I care a lot about the people around me, and not just the people in my direct vicinity or my family or whatever, but also when, let's say like yesterday's video, somebody said, hey, I tried multiplayer, wargame PvP, and I got completely melted down by the rest of my team for being a noob. At that point, I feel bad for a person like that. I think, hey, damn, I want to help you. I'm not sure if you could call that love or something like that. And again, this for me is really uncomfortable and really out there because it's two different trains of thought completely colliding. On the one hand, it's seemingly, as I mentioned in the previous videos, the emotions that were absent trying to surface. And on the other side, it's my rational part fighting back against something it cannot measure, analyze, or adapt to. But I think I'm not the only one struggling with that. I think there are a lot of things that we don't allow ourselves to either say or be or feel. And I don't want this particular channel to get whole touchy-feely and stuff like that. There we go again, that's the rational part of me saying. And yet, I think not just me, but let's say guys in general, we're all, mostly thanks to society and what society expects of us, taught slash trained slash bludgeoned into you cannot show anything, you cannot feel anything, period. It just locks everything down. But I think that we're missing out on some stuff. And I, for one, am definitely going to keep thinking about this issue for a long, long time. And maybe you can think about it too. Maybe there are things that you're not allowing yourself to admit to yourself because it's too weird or too out there. Especially for me, as mentioned, stuff is too out there really quickly. Anything from, oh yeah, I really love doing this, which is something that many Americans say. I go, yeah, right. You love it? No, you like it. That's something else. It's this concept that for me is just really, really ungraspable, if that's a word, and if not, it is now. Something else that happened is that I'm working on social nerd coaching, which I have mentioned once or twice on this channel. It's where I help fellow nerds become more social, build social skills and stuff like that. And in the past couple of weeks I've been working on it quite a bit, and at some point my coach said, what the fuck happened there? Because you're no longer as excited about it. What is going on? And I said, well, it became work. It's just another job. It's something I have to do. I discussed that with my brother, of all people, last Saturday. And he said, well, I think you're trying too hard to immediately monetize the whole thing. You're trying to win way, way, way too quickly. Just have fun. Just have fun with it. Write whatever comes naturally. And I felt this wave of relief. And I started Sunday morning, so the day after, Sunday morning, sat down on my laptop, and I just started writing. And for the last couple of days, it just kept coming. I just keep writing stuff. And it's not just strictly related to social anxiety. It's also related to how do you survive your first couple of weeks at a new job, or how do you make friends in college? How do you, oh, I don't know. Yesterday I wrote about the butterfly effect. So the impact that you have on the people around you that is potentially far greater than what you have expected so far. Anyway, this is turning into a bit of a psycho ramble. Um, Point here being is that while I may do these sorts of videos occasionally on this channel, I have a lot more uh, psychobabble, if you want to call it that, on Social Nerd Guide, socialnerdcoaching.com. You can ignore the name for a bit, but that's where I'm posting my psycho ramblings for now. So if you like this stuff, or if you want to just have some food for thought, please head over there and read some stuff. See what you think about it. See what it does with you. See what it does to you. Because, and that's coming full circle to the start of this video, I think there are a lot of things that we're not admitting to ourselves, or that we're not allowing ourselves to admit to ourselves. Because either it's too weird, it's too uncomfortable, and I think that's the main player, it's too uncomfortable, or society, family, expectations have taught you otherwise. And I think that's a shame. I think that's a waste. I'll definitely be working on that. And you can keep up with that whole journey partly on this channel, but mostly at the other website. Anyway, that's it. I'll post the relevant links in the description down below. I just wanted to share this information, this new insight with you. And in case you haven't noticed yet, doing these sorts of videos for me is also some sort of way to vent. Also some way to express myself and express the ideas to myself out loud, which helps in my own improvement. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching, or well, rather listening to this one. I hope it's given you some food for thought, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you out there.